Well, good morning, everybody.
Oh man, I look tired today.
Okay.
Can't be young forever, kids. So good morning. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. Again, a little uh more than 5 months, 6 months straight. December 12th, by the way. For those of you wondering when did this shit start? Yeah, I had to obviously we had the show and I worked. Um I hate working overtime. I don't like working. I hate working fucking overtime. It just sucks. It just. So I already feel like I get off of work and go to bed and wake up and go to work. Like I fucking hate living like this. I don't think that's what we were supposed to do. Think about this, like last year I didn't work at all and I would never been happier in my entire life. Money's never been tighter, right? Put a lot of strain on my spouse. Now I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life. More than I would have if I'd stayed in school. That's one of the things I think about all the time because I'm sure there's people out there that are like, why didn't you just stay at Purdue back in the fucking day? Like, why didn't you just become a pilot or air traffic controller? So remember, I got this tattoo. So my parents got a fucking divorce, and my life got turned upside down. And after I graduated high school, like my brother ran away. It was traumatic as fuck, right? And I got kind of got abandoned by my family, right? I was going to school to be an air traffic controller or pilot, and the FAA, which right now, look at the fucking spin cycle the FAA is in, they were on a hiring freeze. And so I would have had to not only pay for the remainder of college, which I think I had like a couple years left, um, getting a job would have been a nightmare. I mean, and think about the economy was so bad that not only did was the FAA on a hiring freeze, but I only made it about 6 months working a couple fucking jobs. And again, this is 20 fucking years ago. I'm not bitching about yesterday. Okay. I'm just pointing this out. I beat myself up frequently and I'm like, why didn't you finish college? And I have to congratulate myself for having the fucking foresight of if I just put my head down and if I had, for example, if I didn't pay attention to the news for the record and I would have just put my head down and finished college and there would have been shitty job prospects. Now I'd have this fucking degree, I'd have 50 or so $1,000 worth of student loans, and I'd probably be kind of probably still sitting in the same spot, roughly. Maybe not, right? With the dismantling of the FAA and the destruction of like retirement systems. Anything about that? I'm just having a human moment with you up front and saying, I beat myself up frequently for not just sticking it out. And I can't help but can pat myself on the back and be like, actually, given where I'm sitting right now, I'm just lucky to be here. So I know oddly sentimental there. But again, I'm just like any of you, right? Like I'm just like you. I sit on my failure and spin. Um, if you'll direct yourself to my uh content this morning, you'll see I basically said stop arguing with MAGA. They're 90% bot. Okay. And the thing about it is we've had that conversation several times, haven't we? Where we've talked about stop arguing with the fucking MAGA on the internet. And a lot of people have come to me and been like, "Oh, it's so fun." A social media firm did an audit of Donald Trump and Elon Musk and a lot of the powerful politicians and content creators on the right. And a common theme among all those people's followings was that they buy their followers. Donald Trump and Elon Musk are the worst offenders. They buy about 90% of their following. And I know that you think you live in a country, if you're an American, you live in a country where you're just surrounded by MAGA. And I just want you to know there's a 90 fucking percent chance that when you get into an argument with someone on the internet that's MAGA, that's a fucking bot farm in Indonesia that's bought and paid for by, well, it's your tax dollars. You're basically arguing with your own money, actually, now that I think about it. And I know it can be a bitter pill to swallow because we all have friends and family that are MAGA. Yes, we all know gullible people. Sure. Hmm. Yep. But at this moment in my life, I don't personally know a single person still wearing a fucking MAGA hat. And they had them. They probably still got them. And that's what I'm saying is like, who's still supporting this, right? This regime. Who's still out here saying, you know what? The sky is fucking falling, but it ain't that bad, right? You know what a common theme of recent conversations I've had, actual conversations I've had with actual adults, you know what's happening? People are waking up to how much it costs just to feed your fucking self nowadays. I was for a while disappointed in the way people responded when I ask, all right, well, how much you spend in a month on food and groceries? And I'll tell you that I've only had a handful of people be even remotely logical about what their food costs are. And 90% of those people are very recent, meaning prior to very recently, people were saying, "Oh, I don't eat out that much. I don't eat that much food. Probably like $100 a week." And the thing about it is that doesn't fly. That's not being realistic about your food costs, right? People are starting to be more realistic with me when I'm having a conversation with them and I'm like, "Oh, what do you spend on groceries?" Too fucking much, Jared. My food costs have exploded. I'm now spending, I might have got away with $600 to $800 a month, maybe a couple $100 a trip or less. I got to go every week. Okay, I got kids. Sure. That's now a $450, $500 bill. So my grocery costs are massive, 2 grand. And and in your head you're thinking there's no fucking way. It's hey, I've sat here for fucking months and told you there's a reason that the conversations we have are fucking painful. Is because I'm not dodging shit. I'm hitting head straight the fuck on and telling you like, hey, people were in denial about their food costs. People are waking the fuck up, okay? And it's good. It's a good thing. Um, and again, I just want to make sure you're not wasting your fucking time arguing with MAGA. it's 90% that's a bot. And the reason that we don't want to do it is because you look like a fucking idiot when you do. Marjorie Taylor Greene. So for those of you wondering, why are we spending so much of the early part of this show, 10 minutes, talking about the importance of like having more purposeful content, talking a lot less about MAGA. This again is not a left to right issue, it's a rich versus poor, it's a have versus have not issue. Okay? So that you aren't arguing with a fucking AI for a half hour on Twitter yesterday, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And for those of you that are a little too old, right? And social media is not your gag, cool, keep it moving. Hey, an elected official spent a half hour yesterday calling an artificial intelligence account Grok. She called it anti-Christian. It's a fucking computer. It's like a search engine. She told it was racist against white people. That person gets paid tax dollars. So there's a reason I've sat here and said stop arguing them with them fucking maggots. They're idiots. They're cold idiots. You do not have to court stupidity. Okay? You do not owe, everyone is not deserved of an opinion. Listen, I did the debate stuff because of a communications class in college. My communications teacher was like, "You are going to do debate." So for a little while I sat and watched and I didn't do it. Okay? But one of the things I want to make sure that you understand, debate. A debate is not right and wrong. Do you understand? Me pointing out the merit of having a diverse, equitable, and inclusive work environment is conducive with more money, right? Instead of having that thought process, that someone would argue that it's racist against white people. Now, having actually been to Purdue University and sat and listened to debate and listened to debate theory and listened to people talk about how they debate and shit, let me just point this out to you. If your position is non-defensible, for example, if you think that people that don't like white people are racist against white people, you don't have an argument. That's not a cogent argument because you can't be racist against someone who doesn't know their heritage. And if you sit around and call yourself white, what white means is without a description. White means I, I can't afford the 23andMe. I live in the US, right? White typically means European or Eastern European. I know that is startling to people. So do you understand now you can't be racist against a white person who doesn't know where they're from? So if I'm just making anti-white jokes and you're just a white person, um, I'm basically mocking you because you have no culture. You are effectively cultureless, flavorless, if you will, like unsalted chicken. Okay? And I know it's a tough pill to fucking swallow when one of your fellow whites is telling you. I know that it's uncomfortable. But I'm making a point by saying not all opinions are fucking valid. And so not everyone's voice needs to be heard and not everyone's worth debating. And Charlie Kirk, not worth fucking debating. Anyone peddling the great white replacement theory is a fucking moron. Scientifically, if you go back far enough, we are all cousins. So if you dislike someone based on the color of their skin, you hate your cousin based on something they can't fix. Michael Jackson tried, right? He basically cut off his nose. hmm He basically didn't want to be a black person anymore. He wanted to appease the white man because they was fucking paying him. And that's a fucking no. We don't do that shit. And I've said don't debate a fascist. Like that you don't debate a fascist. The Unfuck America tour, terrible idea. Terrible idea. And the thought process is because they think that we are losing people and they're just gonna go vote with the right and Charlie Kirk and young people, okay? Young people change their fucking minds. That's the beauty of being young, is you can find out what works and doesn't work for you and fucking change and become something else before your whole life is a travesty, right? But yeah, I want to make sure we spent quite a bit of time this morning talking about stop fucking making content and arguing with MAGA on the internet. That's a 90% to be a fucking bot. You aren't even arguing with some fat, sweaty conservative from fucking Alabama that has voted Republican his whole life and has lived on these social programs that he's going to lose. You're not arguing with that person. You are arguing with a fucking account in Indonesia that is running off of a script. Congratulations. You failed at communication. hmm And yes, there are people, very gullible people, that make up like our family members and yes, our family members. And then if you think about MAGA, the culture, like their figureheads, right? Where are their huddled masses? Where are their crowds of people and supporters? Oh, they preyed on poor, elderly, disabled people who can't do that shit, that just mailed in their vote or whatever. That's who they preyed on, blaming it on the immigrant. And I just want to make sure you understand the United States is a nation of immigrants. Immigrants built this country. Immigrants hold this fucking country together. And I keep reading fucking stories about farm owners having to fucking pick their fucking farm by them goddamn selves. So I just want to know, all you people that said they're taking our jobs, why aren't you picking my fucking food? You goddamn clown. Because ain't nobody out there picking them. Where all the whites that needs themselves a job? There are farms nationwide with crops that need fucking picked. What are you doing? I have a job. I don't need a job. But apparently y'all did. You kicked out all the help and scared them away. And good, I'm glad they're gone. And meaning I'm glad they abandoned those farmers. They'd get or what they deserve. hmm And a lot of people are coming around on this administration and saying, "Yo, I think I need to protest. I think I got to boycott. I was thinking yesterday, like, we need a general strike. Let's do it next weekend." S&M said home construction has completely stopped in SC. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've been waiting on a phone call for a while from my brother. He runs a construction company. They voted for this shit. Last year they asked me to come work for them. I said they couldn't pay me enough. Talk about some fucking foresight, Jared. Whew. Your boy dodging fucking bullets. Yep. And you know what I found out about Acre Trader and the land that they own? They bought a bunch of over-farmed land with poor soil quality, and then they're just gonna give it to those Afrikaners. Good. You're giving them a desert. A farmer is not selling his farm if it has good soil quality because he can grow and just sell his shit elsewhere. Y'all are crazy. I got family that owns farms. The only people that sold their shit sold the over farmed land with low soil quality. That's who Acre Trader, that's how they got their land so cheap. Yeah, they did. Oh, and again, I think it goes kind of without saying, there's not a white genocide in South Africa. The images that the president shared while meeting with the president of South Africa, those images were from the Congo, which is also another African country, but far away from South America or South Africa. So don't get too ignorant there trying to defend Dusty Cheeto. Okay. But yeah, a lot of people are wondering, they're coming around to the movement. What do we do? What do we do? Right? Well, first things first, you got to control what you can control. Right? Same thing. Anytime I recognize, oh, I've got a people watching me. Hey, you, you like I must get 8 hours of sleep a night. Okay. You probably need to take a nap. Okay. Also, you got to drink water. You got to drink water and you got to eat right. And if you're going to do all that stuff, you might as well exercise. Okay. They say if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And if you really want to see what kind of freak nasty athlete you can become, you got to split your workouts up. You got to work out like 6 days a week, push, pull legs if you need some exercises for those. Sure. But you need to be on that like 6 days a fucking week and start your day with a movement of some kind. Put on a backpack, fill it full of books, and go for a fucking walk. Again, if you stay ready, you have to get ready. And remember, one of the things I frequently try to fucking tell people, if you are getting in shape as part of the resistance and you aren't focusing on cardio and conditioning and your ability to just go forever, you're making a mistake. Don't spend so much goddamn time getting big and not spend time getting fast and being able to maneuver your body, right? One of the things I frequently tell people is you think you're good until you start moving, okay? And remember, most of what you'll be doing in the event something catastrophic fucking happens is running. You know, one of the things I find hilarious as again as someone that's more likely to pick up the spear and go to the fight than it is to tuck tail and fucking run. Uh, I just want to point out I got an awful lot of people that I follow that are creating content edging on uh, um, supporting violent acts. And I just want to make sure that you understand that you got to operate with a little bit of hindsight here and understand that acts of political violence rarely work out in your favor. You understand? It is not a fruitful endeavor to tactically and negatively engage with this regime. It is not in your best interest. It's much more likely to happen that you'll be in a position to flee. That, think I hate to bring it up, but it's like the Underground Railroad thought process. You're going to need to be in a position to flee, and you're going to be looking for people that want to help people that are fleeing. It's that simple. As opposed to shooty, shooty, bang, bang. I'm going to have to become proficient with firearm, and I'm going to have to, no, you're going to have to fucking lay low and look for the people that need help. Stop thinking of putting yourself into a violent act that's so toxic for your body. It's terrible for your body. You have to be in a growth mindset. You have to constantly thinking about being a hard target and being like a better athlete. Not about becoming a killer. That's not gonna fucking help you when there's a bunch of them. That's not gonna help you when they get a big ass truck and ram it through your fucking house. Okay? It's again one of the things that I've tried to make sure I iterate to y'all. I don't even look at the fucking news unless I'm doing this show. I'm not gonna sit in the mud all day. And too many of y'all are just sitting in the fucking mud. And one of the things you gotta understand is that the court system is going to hold. Look at Donald Trump's fucking Supreme Court go against him over and over and over again. And again, I just want to keep pointing out overwhelmingly against him. 9-0, 7-2, 9-0s. These are important. Ange, I don't think you understand the damage that Anonymous has done. And what they're capable of. I definitely don't I definitely do not want them on my side. So yeah, as we are wont to do every single day, boycott, protest, and strike. Why did he fire those security employees? Security is pretty broad. Who'd they work for? Yeah. Well, remember, these people that are in power are going to feel external pressures. And they've been operating. They're probably illegal. They'll probably be reinstated, much like many of the people that have been fired have. This happened. Russia launched a couple hours ago a major aerial attack on the capital of Ukraine. Again, I love how you see who's reporting on this corruption and shit. BBC. And remember, just remember that the entire reason they don't prosecute sitting presidents is because of a memo. The entire reason that executive orders and presidential orders aren't law is because they're basically a memo. And also, I want to point out in terms of the immunity clause for the president, he's immune from presidential acts. Crime is not a presidential act. It's just not common to prosecute a sitting president. And again, that's a memo. It's not a rule. Rules are made to be broken. Oh, and I don't know if you saw this, but it was like, oh, that fucking sucks. So I saw this thing, and again, I'm sharing the information. I'm not saying it's fucking true. Okay? So, hold on. Let's see if I can find it. Is it from a staffer? Gotta hate him. God, what happened to fucking Fetterman, huh? Fetterman says, often absent from the Senate, says he has been shamed into returning. Yo, Pennsylvania, y'all gotta get rid of Fetterman. Holy fuck. Y'all gotta get him out. ICE is paying Palantir $30 million to build immigration OS. So there's Palantir cashing in on their sponsorship of ICE. Okay. Again, Palantir, Peter Thiel. Remember Peter Thiel? You can go look this video up on one of my recent posts where in 2010 Peter Thiel was speaking at what was that shit called? Libertopia, where he said that his political ideologies were so wildly unpopular that they would never win an election. As you can see, the fucking look at the world we're living in now. Right? And I want to point out Peter Thiel, Palantir, major sponsor of ICE, just got paid $30 million by ICE to develop an operating system that they can use. Remember, can't buy everyone, can't imprison everyone. Check this out. As I said before, from Anonymous, it's called autogenocide. The goal is to get a population to kill themselves and or die by design. This is from Anonymous. When MAGA slash Trump strips people of their health care safety nets, they aren't thinking about saving money. They're thinking about how many of us they can exterminate. Hmm. So lack of medical care, toxic food and pharmaceuticals, climate change, no baby formula or abortions, no elderly care, no aid for the diselderly, disability aid, poverty and homelessness, sectarian hatred, I don't know, plenty of guns and street drugs, toxic pollution. Like they're trying to put you into a perpetual state of doom, right? And this is all before the midterms. Like all of the things that these people are doing, they're showing you exactly who they are. Hmm. You need to make sure that you download the Five Calls app, okay, and call your senator, okay. CC, Donald Trump's gonna lose against Apple for sure. Mhm. I did like this post where it's like, hey, familiarize yourself with your rights. For example, habeas corpus. Oh man. So just so we've gone over this as a group, habeas corpus is a fundamental legal principle that prevents unlawful detention without due process. So um, all these people that have been kidnapped and trafficked, their writ of habeas corpus was violated. Um, but habeas corpus allows individuals to challenge their imprisonment before a court of law, regardless of guilt or innocence in a criminal case. So know that our tax money will be spent to give restitution to appeal. I don't know what we just got a violation. Hmm. What did we say? All of the people had their writ of habeas corpus violated when they were kidnapped and trafficked to a foreign country. I mean, this is what happens. Yeah, I said flowers give life. Oh. We got kicked off of TikTok for saying that the people that this administration has kidnapped and trafficked had their writ of habeas corpus violated. Remember, they want you complicit and quiet. Remember that. Remember every time someone comes onto my live and reports it and we get banned. Remember, we never eat a ban. Those are supposed to be 30 days. I we had that over a kerfuffle over stolen content, right? We went through that. So know that we didn't say anything that they're gonna come back and be like, oh, oh, we're gonna stick by it. We're gonna hold you. Yeah, they were trying to give you a week for misinformation. Yeah, for saying that all those people that this administration has kidnapped and trafficked to foreign countries had their writ of habeas corpus violated. I'll say that with my full chest. I'm not a lawyer. Habeas corpus is a significant protection against abuse of executive power to ensure individuals are not imprisoned unlawfully or indefinitely. It is guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution. I literally just read this from the SPLcenter.org. Oh, remember how I told you, this is going to impact the very people that voted for this, right? Remember how we've been talking about that? Where I said, what's crazy about this administration and their decision making is that and even better, all these hospitals, okay, all these small clinics, all these nursing homes, that budget for next year is being worked on right now. And what Donald Trump's just budget proposal has done is it has already closed up nursing homes and clinics and small hospitals. And what they're seeing, for example, in Florida, is a surge in the elderly living in their cars. These are typically going to be people. I am a blue dot in the reds. Right. Feel approved. See, told you. The kid don't play. You should be cheering in the background. You should be cheering. You should be like, yes, we defeated these motherfuckers that can't understand this shit. Right? We beat that. Beat that too. Where was the Hmm. So okay. So I can confirm this. Okay, check this out. So I'm gonna share this, okay? Not having watched it, okay, but this is a podcast with, okay, people that were on Harris's uh campaign, that were campaign staffers for Kamala Harris, okay? And I want to point out that I woke up this morning and read this article and now I can't find it. It's been fucking gutted from the internet. Okay. And here's what I'll tell you. It's exactly what we thought we were watching, right? Where Joe Biden and Kamala Harris ran out there and fucking conceded. Okay? What what this article was talking about, and if y'all can find it, that would be fucking awesome. But there was an article where a couple Kamala Harris staffers said they didn't want to be seen just like the Republicans by running out and asking for recounts and fucking audits and shit. And what they did was they looked at Project 2025 and said all of that shit's illegal. It'll all get run through court. None of it's gonna fucking pass. Concede this election, focus on 2026 midterms, get back control of the House, rebuild the fucking country. He's gonna say a lot of bluster and shit. Um, but what they expected was that if the U.S. court system failed, then the military comes in and he goes before a tribunal or the ICC or NATO. So understand the president of the United States and Joe Biden, who again, I haven't sat around and been like he was clearly fucking in a decline. Shut the fuck up. It's one of the best presidents we've ever fucking had. That tells you about the demands of the position. Hubris, ego, narcissism, these are all bad traits in people. These are all bad fucking traits. Kamala Harris spent a whole fuckload of money on that staff to sell them short and to sell us short. And if you think the Democratic Party has your fucking back, you're out of your mind. They sold you out to the billionaires just like the fucking Republicans did and said, fuck it, let the military deal with it if it gets bad enough. Joe Biden saying, remember your fucking oath and shit. Now, that said, I'm still sticking to my guns and saying there's not a lot that Donald Trump can get away with here. Okay. But you can't let the Democrats get away with this. You can't let these elected officials get away with this. Every elected Republican took money from Russia, who's our enemy. Every, well, 100 elected Democrats take money from AIPAC, Israel. 54 elected Democrats are part of the Blue Dog Caucus, which is a subsect of the Democratic Party that votes conservative. So if you ever wondered why nothing happens when Democrats are in power, nothing happens when Republicans are in power, except the Republicans will attack minorities, the Democrats will attack billionaires that don't support them, right? It's a constant mudslinging contest. And the reality of the situation is, I think there are at least at any given time 600 fucking people that are better people, better suited for the position than all 600 of those elected officials. And the thing about it is, my whole life, the best people I've ever met did not call themselves a Democrat or a Republican. That fucking simple. Yep. Howard said all of Congress for decades created these issues. Now, one of the things that you'll never fucking catch me doing is 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 saying Democrats and Republicans are the same. Nope. Republicans are fucking traitors. Full stop. Democrats are do nothings. So, as long as we have that understanding that we are not both siding Democrats and Republicans. Republicans are fucking traitors. Democrats are fucking do nothings. There's a reason that I founded the American Socialist Party. So that you have someone, me, the founder of the American Socialist Party, telling you you have to be unabashedly pro equality. You have to champion for people that don't fucking look like you. Because if you don't, no, Howard, negative, incorrect. I'm not going to allow that in my conversation on my platform. Blocked. You'll figure it out one day. Right after I just told you, don't both sides, this is not the time to both sides, Democrats and Republicans, when Republicans are the fucking traitors. Oh, they're both treasonous. Nope. Nope. Not how that works. But I shared a podcast where former Harris staffers did a sit down tell all. Okay. Right. There's rules to passing a budget in the Senate too. They can't just ram through a budget with all that hidden fluff with a simple majority, right? So just know that the Democrats are gonna hold Republicans accountable and show exactly what this budget bill does. And I'm telling you, all of those cuts are gonna get cut. That's going away, that's going away, that's going away. Yep, has to have 60 votes if it includes more than the budget. So just want to make sure that we are all understanding they may have passed, but there are rules to the game, and there's a reason that the Democrats did what they did. And again, I'm not saying what they did is right. Not speaking up makes me think you're complicit. Hey, at least they didn't say we gave up because we thought he was gonna die. So they said we expect that the court system will hold, and if it don't, the military will pick them up. Yeah, that's pretty fucking soulless. Yeah. You're expecting a lot of fucking people to have a lot of fucking balls, and potentially people are gonna die for you. And instead, you're one of the most powerful attorneys in the world, and you just can't seem to punish the powerful. That's the thing that I can never figure out. How come, how come you got these people that are like accomplished fucking attorneys, and it's like, why don't you try them? Why don't you're an accomplished attorney with 30 plus years experience, but you've yet to topple billionaires, right? Yet to speak truth to power or hold power accountable? No, no, they try to work with it. Yeah, it's just like we fucking said, our worst fucking fear. And that's from Harris staffers. I'm not making that shit up. Harris staffers said when the shit popped, the the sitch was um Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Democrats in power decided they, first of all, it is important that all the other things we said were also true about how they changed the rules of the election. And I also want to make sure that we know they know the rules. So we know that they knew we would have to pay fines. We would have to pay money for recounts and shit. They gambled. They gambled. Uh, I think, in my opinion, their decision cost at least 9 people's lives, and that's before Kilmar Abrego Garcia. So I want to make sure that we tell you that former President Biden and Kamala Harris, that administration elected to sacrifice Americans for political purposes. Uh huh. Mm-hmm. And chose not to contest the election, said that the court system would handle it, and ultimately they're playing the fucking long game. No, no, there are too many people already in their head like no fucking way, Jared. Oh yes, fucking way. These actions cost lives specifically. hmm And there's a reason that I could read that article before I got out of bed this morning, and then nowhere to be fucking found. Just know that I've sat up here, and what did I tell you? Every single person matters, right? Every life matters. If one person dies, it's a matter of national security. If several people die, especially internationally, it's a matter of international security. Because here's what I'm saying. This this budget bill that they're trying to pass, it ain't never gonna pass. They're gonna concede fucking everything. This is the Donald Trump way. Okay? Hey, and for the record, Bob, hate to say it, the fact that Donald Trump promised to deport 14 million people and has managed, I still think we're under 500, and only 9 people out of 340 million have died. It's a shitty gamble. Okay, I'm not for it. Not a good bet. But I mean, if you're gonna fucking gamble, and again, not my decision. That's not how I'd have done it. But know that got scraped off the fucking internet. So I just want to make sure you know that. I'm guessing it'll be in suppressed news later. But yeah, remember before all this happens, remember Donald Trump's like laying these fucking tariffs, and it's not actually, the tariffs aren't actually fucking happening. Hmm. Yep. Remember, we talked about the military getting involved, and eventually this shit will hit the fan with election interference, and election fraud. Um, but yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to me the lack of accountability, the team ball sort of thing, where like being a Democrat or Republican, people fight over like at the sports teams, but the reality is they're not. They never were, and nobody ever fucking calls themselves a Democrat or Republican. But yeah, it's the same thing with the actual damage is done. The budget bill proposing massive cuts to Medicare and Medicaid forces all small and medium sized clinics, hospitals, especially rural hospitals, they're doing their budget for next year now. And now, right now, they're not building new fucking hospitals and clinics and fucking small to medium hospitals. Those projects are getting fucking canceled right now. Those facilities are going to start fucking closing. Those small local clinics and hospitals to medium sized hospitals that don't have very many beds, those places are going to close on the threat of this spending bill. Will they reopen? Probably not. Probably fucking not. And the funny thing about communication, somebody who communicates for a living all day every day, there's a fucking disconnect. There is a disconnect between the elderly and their fucking children. And the thing about it is, there's a whole lot of fucking people in this country that haven't spoken to their fucking parents in years and are estranged, and they're about to have a fucking ambulance roll up to their house, wheel out that one of their fucking parents and say, "Are you such and such?" Filial law says they're yours. Now you can take care of them. So while everyone was over here hating on MAGA, hating on their family, and being like, I don't fucking give a shit, just know, just know, those jeez, I don't know if you can hear the dogs. I don't know why that's happening outside my door. But anyway, what I was saying, um, remember, whether or not this budget bill passes, the damage is done. Yeah, what dogs? Yeah, my baby's in the background. I don't know why they did that. They usually can just lay and cry when my wife is probably in her office playing video games and I'm in here talking to you. But yeah, but know that the budget bill doesn't even have to pass for a small local clinic, depending mostly on Medicare and Medicaid money to stay open. Oh, that shit's closing. Those projects are not going to be finished. The hospitals, when COVID gets real bad, those hospitals are going to be real crowded, and a lot more people are going to die when the flu season hits. And I'm just trying to think as someone who's spent their childhood in like a medical facility, okay? All those stories of COVID where they were leaving people in the fucking hallway. Hey, MAGA, just know you did this to yourself. When the hospitals get overcrowded and they just fucking have to wheel people outside and leave them outside, who'd you vote for? Okay, you did this to yourself. Like, sorry about you. This is just light. We walk right by them. That's how exactly how that should fucking go. Oh, you got a MAGA hat on? Ha ha ha. Goodbye. You did this to yourself. Mm-hmm. 100%. I'm bringing back the K tax. Remember the video from Dude? I wonder where he went. His shit must have got blocked. right? The who did you vote for tax. You want to talk about tariffs? The who did you vote for tariff? Every time somebody leaves a nasty comment, it's a K tariff. You just respond to everything with K. And remember, the worst part about all of this is your boy did the fucking math. Your boy did the fucking math. When it comes to SNAP and Medicare and Medicaid, just know many of the people that have one have all three. And you know what it's called? A combined likelihood. hmm So do you know what the fucking odds are of someone being MAGA and being on Medicaid and Medicare and SNAP? 0.77. Like super fucking high. Yep. 1.0 would mean literally every single person on SNAP, Medicaid, and Medicare. But when you do combined odds calculations, because you can't get full numbers on everybody, it's like 0.77. So most of the people that are going to be directly impacted by the closure of rural clinics and hospitals. hmm Oh yeah, the very people that voted for it. Okay. So keep in mind, I don't even like you people. I don't even like them people. And I'm spending part of my show every fucking day saying, God, I do not want you to die like that. I don't want you to starve. I don't want you to go into shock because you can't get your medication. I don't want you to die with a bunch of medical debt because your healthcare fucking fails. I don't want you left in a hallway. I don't want you left outside. I don't want there to be burn pits. That's kind of what I was hoping to fucking avoid was just mass death. That's what I was hoping we would not fucking do. And again, I want to point out all those other things besides the budget money are going to get ate the fuck up in the Senate. And so keep in mind that big, beautiful budget bill, that shit's getting chopped all the way the fuck down to nothing. Just so everybody knows. That shit is going to be a big pile of nothing by the time it's fucking over with. But the damage is already done. It didn't even have to pass. So you see how dangerous it is to not be results oriented, to just be worried about the splash, to just be thinking shock and awe, right? And not thinking about the impact, not thinking about what happens if you say this, what happens if you do this, what happens if you just purport tariffs on all 200 other countries on the planet. What if you just do that? Well, you fuck up the economy. All the people that got Donald Trump into office lost their fucking ass. And again, I just want to point out that they're so hell bent on a lack of accountability that all these rich people that you hate that ruin your life all the fucking time are heavily invested in police, private security, and the US prison system to protect themselves from you. That's fucking correct. There's a reason why I sit here and say you cannot defeat this with a sword. You cannot. There's a reason when you read the Niemöller quote where he points out they went after the commies first. Why the communists? Ask yourself, honestly, be honest with yourself. Why did the Nazis go after the commies first? I'll tell you, as somebody who's researched this. The Nazis targeted the communists because the communists were willing to fight for what they believe in. And when I say fight, I mean actually fucking fight. King of the Hill to install their way of life. You used 7, 8 exclamation points and said no things. Why do you think they went after the commies first? Because they were willing to be violent, to fight for what they believe in. and I have someone being like, "You're clueless." And can you counter my point at all historically? Uh, 9 exclamation points. Okay. No, cool story. Blocked. But yeah, Janice, the other items in that bill are horrible. Up, yep. And like I said, those things are going to get tore off that bill. Yep. Members switched their votes for cabinet picks due to death threats. Mm. So as I said, we are seeing a rise of so yeah, all the other parts of that bill are going to get debated, okay? And so you're gonna see that bill get dumbed down, but the damage is fucking done, okay? Damage is fucking done. I talk to people every day that are coming head on with the harsh realities of, hey man, my grocery costs have doubled. I got kids, can't afford my bills. What am I supposed to do? And most of the people that I talk to are making good money. So imagine making good money and you can't afford a life. It's too expensive. Yep. Yep. So those things are all going to get drugged through the mud. That bill's going to get tore the fuck apart. Yeah. Definitely not getting signed. Okay. My concern is the blowback. See, that's what I think about. The blowback from this bill being so threatening, right? You got content creators out here saying, "Oh my God, it's the end of the world." Like you sound like an idiot. You sound like an idiot. It's not the end. It's a slow bleed. This is what it looks like when someone bleeds out. It's slow, it's painful. Yep. Yep. And I'm gonna be here every fucking day saying again, what's important to understand is my team ain't losing nobody to this. My team, if you sitting here and you listen to me every day and you need my help, I'll help you. hmm Yep. But what's gonna fucking happen here? Exactly what my YouTube chat's saying. It's like they're inside my brain. What's gonna happen here is this bill's gonna get tore the fuck apart, and Donald Trump's not gonna get his fucking way, and then he's gonna go on fucking TV and go on a tirade. And I'm afraid of what will happen to like innocents, just innocent people, that are gonna have to deal with his wrath. hmm I think of I think of my parents, like my elders. My mom works in a nursing home. I feel bad for her patients, not INCEIENTS patients. The people she cares for, I feel bad for them. Deb said I make decent money too, and I'm struggling. I want you to think about this, Debs. In order for my wife and I to have less than $1,000 in savings, I'm a disabled veteran. My disability pay covers my mortgage. We both work full time, and I make more money than God, and we're still barely cracking. The middle class is absolutely shot. Oh, yeah. and understand in this bill that they're trying to pass, they're increasing the tax rate of people that make less than $50,000 a year. Hmm. Yep. Meanwhile, the U.S. healthcare system is collapsing in on itself. Hmm. You know it's bad when healthcare executives are going to the stand to talk about other healthcare companies and talk about how awesome of a company they are and how they deserve to have success and people should want to do business with these people because they realize they built this thing, this capitalist machine. Sorry about what? What, Debs, what are we sorry about? What's wrong? I've tried, my whole life to talk about, hey, the healthcare system. Yeah. Oh yeah. I talk to them people all day, every day. I just don't want to declare bankruptcy. I don't want to lose my house. I don't have a choice though. Hmm? You did. You did. Hmm? You did. Yeah, both work and still struggle. And keep in mind, it's the rising cost of goods. It's the increased cost of living. It's the increased cost of gas, right? It's the fact that, you got upkeep on your house, upkeep on cars. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't say struggling because I've been homeless. I've had nothing. I know what that feels like. That's comfortable. I've slept in my car. Hmm. This isn't struggling. I've been there. Hmm. I've been there where the only money I had left was enough to drink a few beers and hope that one of my friends would take me in and let me get off my feet. Yep. And I'm hoping to continue to do the job that I have for a long time. Um, for many of you, if you have unsecured debt, okay, so this is credit cards, payday loans, personal loans, and you're paying any amount of money, if you got above $10,000 in unsecured debt, you need to get away from those companies, those credit card companies that you're paying 80% of your payment is interest and you can't direct money to the principal. That's why you don't ever feel like your balance goes down and you're never able to pay off your debt. That's the trouble with unsecured debt. That's what I do for a living is help people get that shit out of the way so you can own something. So you could buy a house, so you could get a car. Yeah, big shift is looming. Hmm. People don't want to work in the U.S. healthcare system because think about it. I hate to break it down for you, but who do you think gets sick? Do you think that physical illness is a broad spectrum that affects everyone? Not how health works. In the United States, think about the people that are going to have health problems. The poor, the uneducated, right? How do they vote? Exactly. So why do you think people that work in healthcare in the United States don't want to work in the United States anymore? Because the very people that they're treating are the exact people that voted for this. Well, given that he got absolutely nothing for his parade will be outshined by protest. Speaking of protest, people have been clamoring for this and looking for a reason to protest every single day and said, in the United States, we don't protest. It's not how we do things here. Okay. Daily protest. May Day Movement USA. Don't say I didn't tell you. Okay. Sure, there's some protests today. Protesting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week until Donald Trump is impeached. And think about this. Think about the time frame we're in and how people supporting Donald Trump at his little crypto ball showed up wearing masks so they weren't identified to the public. Yep, Crystal said, and Crystal, you work in healthcare, right? And she said, yep, every day I see people who voted for this, and most of them are on Medicaid and Medicare. There's a reason I'm sitting here every day saying, if people tell you every day I get on here and I say, sleep 8 hours a night, take a nap, drink water, eat right, exercise. Hey, you've got to take care of yourself. The people that want America to fail, they're not taking care of themselves. They're going to suffer health consequences faster and sooner in life, and they're going to hit them harder than if you could just fucking take care of yourself, right? Them other people are fucking not. Them people you don't like that don't want you to succeed, that voted for this shit, overwhelmingly, Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, also uneducated and poor. Who do you think has to be treated at a hospital at like I don't know, Crystal, I'm saying it's 2.5, 3 to 1. Like 3 ignorant people for every 1 smart person in a hospital setting. Where you're like, oh, it's just an unfortunate situation. Your negative health events happen all the time, right? 3 to 1, 4 to 1. Hmm. Yep. So there's a reason that people are hiding their faces when they have donated $1 million and they're gonna go to Donald Trump's crypto fair in a tuxedo and a fucking mask on. Not just like a cloth mask. I'm trying to be courteous with a full faced enclosed back of head enclosed fucking ears on that shit. Yeah. And walk into a fucking Trump event because I can't even bear to show my face for the damage it could do to my brand. Hmm. And I find it hilarious. People will watch my podcast, hear me talk about things like the danger of heavy reliance on AI, right? And people will message me, be like, "What do you think about crypto?" And it's like, "Oh, decentralized currency is harmful." Hmm. There's a reason it's destabilizing the U.S. economy. And they're like, "Well, I made $3 million last year," and I messaged them back, "Why the fuck are you talking to me then?" Hold on. I'm in the ER, and man, majority of the clients that fill the waiting room looking for medical assistance. Exactly. Who do you think? Right? The exact people that voted for this are the exact people that need help. That's why it's so fucked to see Donald Trump turn his back on the very people that he relied on voting for him to get him into office. That's super fucked. Those people got you there, and he absolutely does not give a shit. I mean, obviously he doesn't give a shit. You know, that's kind of obvious. But they knew that. But yeah, here's a video. I think I showed it already of people showing up. By the way, Harvard has responded to Donald Trump's attack on the university by posting its courses on policy, constitutional foundations, and more online for free. So, hey, go get you some Harvard Ed. Okay. Brilliant, brilliant move. Remember, I told you universal education's key. Here's Harvard giving away its courses. Okay. Right there. pllharvard.edu. Okay. You gotta focus on the helpers. There's so many of even the people that come and sit on this show every day with me that get wrapped up in things that you can absolutely not impact at all. And remember that we are having empathy for people that don't have empathy. Federal budget could shift as much as 300 million in costs to Wisconsin for SNAP benefits. And if you're not out there protesting, they say whatever you're doing now is what you would have done during the Holocaust, right? So remember that when I show up every day talking about the news, what's actually going on here, right? The policy of appeasement, talking about this is John Stewart's commentary on Donald Trump in terms of going after Comcast, going after Harvard, uh, burning the country down for insurance money. And they're talking about how far they'll let him go. And again, as I've said before, We got to do something that breaks UCMJ. So you'll notice that he can get some troop movement, like he can move little pieces of the military, but he does not have control of the military. It's clear to me. He does not he lacks the qualification, the clearance, actually. Again, you got to do something bad enough for the UCMJ to apply. And I know it's a tough pill to fucking swallow, but I have been telling you this entire time. And again, what we really need are the results of Executive Order 13848 to come out. hmm That's what we really need. I have a feeling they're waiting. I have a feeling they're waiting. And that's all that you can really say, right? Is that I have a feeling they're waiting. hmm Especially given now we know. Hey, here's Tim Waltz sticking up for trans people. We're effectively waiting for the court system to fail us. I know it's a tough pill to swallow. A lot of people are, you know what I mean? Like beside themselves at this administration. I really want to see what happens with Kilmar Abrego Garcia and all these other people that have been kidnapped and trafficked out of the country without due process. Just is what I mean. Just is what it is. See, this is going to impact us as well. We got to remember, there's lots of people that are attending prestigious universities that are paying. Whose entire families are built on them attending college, attending Harvard, right? When their home countries start offering them unconditional life, free education, I've tried to tell you, they'll bait you home with it, right? Regime turns, I mean, how have they not turned on the American people? But that's the whole thing. Is like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about if ICE puts down police, right? If ICE and police clash and ICE takes down a police officer, would that be this regime turning on the American people, right? Heard we have a prisoner in the U.S. that knows about Bukele and his wrongdoings, and he would do anything to get him back. Says Garcia is the bargaining chip. Interesting. Yeah, so like what is your version like turning on the American people? What do you mean? The military is not acting on Donald Trump's behalf? If that was your question. He has no power. Remember, I've told you, you cannot see this man as powerful because he is not. He is weak and powerless. He does not have the power he thought he had. He thought that these smart people were going to help him get his way. No, that's simply not true. He uses military to go in our homes. No, he doesn't because he can't. If someone that's in the military acts under his order, they're doing that as an individual. Small group acting as a small group. They aren't reflective of the military. Mhm. To understand, Donald Trump can order the U.S. military to attack, but the U.S. military is not going to engage Americans. It's not what they're there for. I know, I know. Like a stone, right? Tina, the people that vote for Donald Trump aren't athletes. They wouldn't make it. They're anti-authority. They don't get 8 hours of sleep. They don't drink water. They don't eat right. They don't exercise. So how could you expect them to make it into the military? There's a reason. Yeah, and Donald Trump throws tantrums all the time because he's not getting his fucking way. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of people that are scared of this, and it's like he's actually ineffective as fuck, not getting his way, throwing a bunch of temper tantrums. And remember, he promised to deport 14 million, and it's just like 9 people have died in ICE custody instead, and he's deported 0 people. And you can't just get people into the military. So I just want to make sure we point this out too. There are weight standards. There are physical fitness standards. The people that are your enemy, they're not meeting those standards. They're getting fucking kicked out of the military. Wannabes, Proud Boys. Very, very few actual men that are affiliated with the Proud Boys. hmm Those extreme groups are broken up. Their leadership's disheveled. Remember, lots of the people that were pardoned as a result of Donald Trump getting elected that were January Sixers, they've been rearrested. Plenty of them have perished, actually. hmm I mean, not enough, but mhm. Yeah, Tina, what you're doing is fear mongering, despite what I'm saying like the military is not attacking American citizens. That order would be ignored. And then you keep trying to find a way, and it's like, stop that, stop that. That's not healthy. You're gonna what if yourself into a hole in the ground. Stop it. He's gonna fail. He's failing. He wakes up every day and fails. That's all that man does all day. Just fail. And remember, I've told you lots of people that think they're being oppressed. In reality, you just put a boot on your face. Your hand's in the boot. You're pushing yourself down with the boot. You are oppressing yourself here. Donald Trump cannot tell the military to turn on Americans. One person might, that person will be court-martialed and imprisoned for life if not given the death penalty, if not executed. So know that the military on a whole not turning, right? Again, I've asked, let me be your barometer. And instead I get on here every day and look at the news with you and I say, he actually sucks at his job. The Supreme Court he bought is ruling against him unanimously. 9-0 twice, 7-2 once, all against. Do you understand? They're showing you, oh, he's weak and powerless. Yeah, I'm more concerned about ICE. I'm concerned about lone wolves, right? Remember, what's fucking crazy is that two different people tried to unalive Donald Trump during the run up to the election. Two people. It's insane. It's provocateurs, right? Remember, we've been talking about that when you're going to protest, ignore the pile of bricks and also your innate desire for chaos, right? When you go to protests, you're there as a witness. You're there. It's okay to say like, hey, I'm scared. This is a scary situation. This guy is scary, right? But you can't let your mind wander into what if every other adult just says fuck it, okay? Because I can promise you, you are going to run real fast into an adult that doesn't do that fuck it shit. You get what I'm saying? I just think that one of the things that has to happen is we have to be brave in the face of this. Because if you're not and you just let them run you the fuck over, it's going to suck. And you're going to hate life because you're like, God, it really doesn't matter. This is something that we endure and endure together. Hmm. But remember, what's important about this is that you can't martyr Donald Trump or Elon Musk. You can't martyr these people because you're giving them credibility. So you just gotta hope that a vein in their forehead just has a blockage. It's like when somebody gets struck by lightning over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you're like, damn, how do I make that happen? Yeah, like what the Dems did already. They're letting it play out. Because yeah, Americans are resilient, right? Americans don't like bad leadership. And remember that Donald Trump and his ideals in the Republican Party are not becoming more popular or I mean expectations, Ange. They looked at the rules of the game and said, "You know what? Most of this shit, their game plan is to rule by fiat. And that means that Donald Trump's going to sit on his high horse and he's going to submit these executive orders and presidential orders all day. And then we're going to go through the court system and hash it the fuck out. And if the court system sticks, which it should, because they put 230 some odd fucking federal judges into place that keep catching all these cases, and Donald Trump loses. And if you look at the things that he's won, if you look at the things that he's won since he's been president, he ain't winning shit. He stopped production of the penny. Y'all are over here like defeated. This motherfucker stopped the production of the penny. He signed the Laken Riley Act, which requires that you detain any suspected illegal immigrant accused of committing a crime, which means he violated the fucking Laken Riley Act that he signed. Another piece of legislation that he's gotten passed was a continuing resolution. So that's 3 of the 5. That motherfucker has been in office like 6 months. 5 bills. Stop freaking out. Wake up. Realize like the world's not ending quickly. It's a slow bleed. Hmm. Remember that spending bill doesn't even have to go into effect to absolutely gut fuck the US healthcare system and ruin a lot of people's lives. And remember, one of the first articles we shared today is how Florida is seeing a surge in homeless elderly people living in their fucking cars who overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump. So you can see why I don't actually feel that bad. Because think about it. If you were a grandma and you voted for Kamala, you think she's sleeping in her fucking car? There's like a 0 fucking percent chance. Yes. It can be all so much. There's a reason, Ange, that we sit here every day, talk about the news, talk about what's actually happening, right? Yeah, that's where we let off. Yep. Florida is seeing a surge in elderly people, homeless, sleeping in their cars. hmm Right down there by Mar-a-Lago. That's your friend, isn't it? He'll help you. Don't worry, he lives in a hotel. Got you. Right? Knowing he wouldn't even let you on the property. He doesn't want anything to do with you. So it's time to protest, boycott, and strike. Right? A little bit of eat the rich. Gonna get out of here. Yeah. Oh, and remember, Florida experiencing a surge in elderly people sleeping in their cars, also about to go through hurricane season.